Evening, everyone. Back again. Another koi wholesale auction. How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, not too bad, buddy. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah, it's coming up
What's
to show weekend, so hopefully I'll make it through this weekend with my thighs and my body intact.
are you on the razzle dazzle?
Yeah, I'll be benching and other bits and bobs.
Oh,
So
right.
it's gonna be a busy weekend. So
When does
yeah,
that start? Friday, I'm guessing.
yeah. So yeah, full on weekend. But I'm excited. For to be fair, they're already underway and they've made a cracking start on it already. So yeah, I think I'm going to rock up and get the easy job. To be fair,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
how are you doing?
yeah, I'm fine, mate. I'm just hotter than the sun. Yeah, I've had this room's rather hot, so yeah, and I've done the classic thing again, not bringing up a drink. So yeah. On a plus note, this past week we've been inundated with people dropping off sweets to the farm, which it's pretty good.
Very
We had,
good.
I think, a 2 kilo box of midget gems, and then a boatload from Rachel of bits and pieces. So yeah,
Very good.
if anyone wants to bring stuff, then yeah, we're not going to say no.
Brilliant. Yeah, we had a good time last week on the auction. We got quite a few people asking you some questions, and yeah, it's nice to ask you some questions because although you're not one to brag, you are quite knowledgeable on the world of koi. So if you got any questions for Chris, chuck them in the chat, and we can always answer them as we go through
We'll
the
bumble our way through them,
night.
mate.
Yeah, but I guess we should kick off then and have a look at fish number A.
Yeah.
What's number A? Little danichi piece.
Yeah, they're sort of like stashed away in one of the QT houses. These are, and they're just sort of ticking over. And yeah, I think what was it the other day? We were just scooching around, and I was like, "Oh, that looks quite tidy." Sort of a little bit of a pig to picture, I'm guessing, by the way it's behaving.
Oh yeah, this one I called it Flappy Bird. It were just one where it was straight in the bowl and it was yeah, the pecs were going 10 to dozen. I think it shows in the video as well, but yeah, this one was a bit lively.
Just get fish like that, mate. That it just will not behave. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that
You
looks
see
like
the
a
pecs.
nightmare
So you had
picture.
to time the flash and the photo going off at the right time. So
Yeah, I
oh, it
don't
was
envy
good
you
fun.
there. Wow. Yeah, that's a right pig. That is.
Well, to be fair, just in its behaviour, it was a bit of a pig, but in everything else, it's quite a nice fish, isn't it? And its pattern and its qualities, to be fair.
Simple, isn't it? I do like the big dans at the front of the fish. Nice sort of U shape between the eyes. Pattern just sits there nicely. Kiwa nicely formed. Yeah, probably not sort of built like some of the other danichi fish that we've had on in the past, but I think it's reflected in the starting price. So
Yeah.
yeah, if anyone is getting involved, then yeah, we're looking for 50 quid to get us started for danichi kahaku. So yeah, it's not bad going at all in anyone's books.
There you go, Crafty. Need some dolly mixtures, he says on the farm. So we'll be expecting Crafty to drop them off next time he's up then.
Yeah, mate, bring them up. They're all welcome. So, what are you taking your own fish to the show, Joe?
Yeah, I am actually.
What's been the routine to prep them?
So yeah, to be fair, I'm pretty new to it. To be fair, they've had quite a heavy clay. The last couple of days I've been putting clay in, but I'm hesitant to do anything. To be fair, my pH is up at like 8.8 at the highest point in the day, and I think the show vats are about 7.8. So they're going to get a bit of a shock, I think, when they get to Newark and they put in some decent water. But yeah, that to be fair, they've had.
Probably won't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to PP the fish before the show, but my fish have had so many treatments this year. I'm kind of hesitant to do anything with it. So, but
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, I had to whack out 140 pound on an air bottle, 30 pound on a regulator to regulate the air coming out. So it's cost me 170 quid just for the air bottle itself. So it's not a cheap do, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. But hopefully it's well worth the money, mate. So
We'll see.
Yeah. So on this one, looks like we've got a couple people sort of interested at the moment. So we're looking for 60 to keep this one alive.
Yeah, I quite like this fish. Nice and simple, danichi.
Easy to read fish, mate, isn't it? So
Yeah.
sort of 55 quid. Yeah, it's game on, really, mate. So yeah, if we're not, I've just had a message saying we've got a bit of a lag again. Yeah, it's don't really know what the answer is to this one. We've just got to play it how we go, really, haven't we? So yeah, it's tricky one when we're doing these live things. So Richard, if you're still in, please let us know. We're looking for 60 to keep this one alive, or we're going to wrap this one up and move on. So we've got a few fish to get through tonight, I believe, mate.
Yeah, we have real mixed bag as well tonight. There's I think 3 kahakus and then all the rest are non-gosanki. So yeah, there's some real mix tonight.
Oh, we got some ikarashi pieces in here tonight. Yeah, nice.
One in particular, I think people are going to go mad for. So a chagoy.
Oh yeah. It's a bit,
that chagoy is a bit,
that is, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think people might go a bit mad for that, but we'll see.
Okay, so it looks like Mike W is in on this one on his own. Yeah, what a snip this is going to be. Possibly could be up there with the buys of the year at 55 quid. So yeah, we'll do the what are the words I'm looking for?
The formalities.
Yeah, so honestly, my little girl's literally been ringing in my ears for the past sort of 45 minutes. She sort of says, I want to be picked up. You pick her up, she goes mental. You put her down, she goes mental. You sort of leave her in the middle, she goes mental. So yeah, what can you do?
Oh, Paul in at 60 quid.
Yeah, worth every penny, mate.
Yeah, not bad. Mike, if you want to let us know if you're coming back, I'll play the video one last time. Making the most of the first fish of the evening with the low viewers. As it gets busier during the night, there'll be no chance this goes for 60 quid. Mike back in at 65.
So I just get a few messages coming in on the side here as well.
Paul at 70. You've got a stag do this weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, this could be the stag do to end all stag do's. It's really getting out of hand. Well, I'm the best man, so I'm organising it, and yeah, I do like a party, I must admit. So yeah, I have gone a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little bit alternative. Let's put it that way, mate. So there's some interesting concepts, and they're sort of growing arms and legs as they're all put together. So yeah, Friday and Monday, so it should be good. My best friend who lives in Australia, so yeah, it's should be an interesting one. Ironically, it's not a million miles away from Newark. It is actually classed as Newark, so you might actually hear us.
I've not yet seen that side of you yet, Chris. So
well,
it'd be
you probably
interesting to see
my very professional sort of serious side. So yeah.
Oh dear. So Paul in £100 final bid. Mike, if you want to respond to that, mate. Fair play, Paul, for upping it a little bit.
As well.
Mike in at 105. So
we'll
play the video one last time if anyone wants to increase on Mike's bid.
I still think that's quite a decent fish for that sort of money from Danichi, to be fair. Sort of trying to picture this in a retail environment, and it's odd because a lot of these fish that don't sit within a lot of retail sort of realms because they're hard to get hold of. It's not as if you could go and buy a box of danichi kahaku this size and this sort of quality. It just don't happen. So I find it hard to place these types of fish. I mean, you look at jumbo tosai from danichi, even with half a decent pattern, they're big money. So yeah, looks like Mike's taking this one.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, so
Move on.
yeah, happy days. If you could make
Perfect.
sure you email me, Mike, with your details, with your preferred dealer, and we'll get it sorted out for you. I don't. Have we
There you
got
go.
the? I don't know. I don't know how to do it, Joe. Have you got the thing
The
with the
banners,
email
yeah. So
along the bottom?
yeah, let me see where Steve's hidden it.
Oh, if it's anything like
There we go.
Dropbox. Ah, there you go. If you could just follow the details along the bottom there for us, Mike, that would be great stuff.
So second danichi Tosai of the night. This one, I think this one's got different qualities to the first one. You know, typical two-step, but I think we were discussing this last week whether or not it is a single step or a two-step. I think for me that's going to be a two-step as it grows
100%.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think at that point, sometimes it is a bit of a throwaway comment from people when they say, "Oh, it's a big fish pattern." You know those sort of phrases you hear in the koi industry all the time, and you kind of think it, it's an easy thing to say, but this is a big fish pattern. I think
Yeah.
on a smaller fish, you can't gauge the technicality of it. Nice adome at the back of the fish. Obviously, I've already said that having those big dans at the front of the fish and that consistency of pigment. One thing that I quite like is that transition from the head to the body.
Yeah.
Sometimes on younger fish, it could be like a real difference in colour. That's just that is natural. It's just where the skin's thickening. But this is just from head to the tail, consistent. Once that Dan, as we look at it on the right, starts to open up, that simplicity is really going to be exaggerated with a bigger body on it.
Yeah. I like this as well, and I think that second Dan, as the body grows out, you're going to get white grounds on either side of the fish as well, which I think it's gonna look even better because, you know, the sashi and key were, I think, are pretty safe on this one. You know, that second Dan, because there's only a slither of white that you see at the minute, there's not very much sashi. And I think this could be a really nice, clean, you know, even a 30 centimeter fish. I don't think you have to wait that long on this fish for it to be completely transformed. I don't think we're talking about waiting until 70 cm for this fish to be completely different. I think maybe 10 more centimeters and it could be altogether different quality.
Yeah, I think just as soon as that body mass starts to increase, you're going to see that separation between the two dans. Skin is very good. Some nice technical features. Starts with white, finishes with white. Good sashi, good kiwa, good skin, very good benny. We've seen that time and time again. Nice body line as well for a small fish. So for
Yeah,
me, it's a fish that's got quite a good package, to be fair, and sort of at a starting point of 50 quid. Perhaps people are looking for the more complex pattern styles, but I think this is actually more akin to a bigger fish, um, than previous ones that we've had on here. So, yeah, for a starting point of 50 quid, I would say, from a technical point of view, moving forward, it's going to be quite a tidy fish.
I think it's just got a really high ceiling, hasn't it? That this fish, in terms of, potential. For me, I think there's been fish, to gauge a ceiling is really hard, but I can just see this fish, I can't see much wrong with it where I'm maybe doubting anything on it. I just think this fish has got such a potential. It just that sashi needs to go, but I'm fairly certain it will. And obviously, it just needs maybe a little bit more body mass. But other than that, it's got such a high ceiling. I like the idea of keeping this and raising this fish. To be fair,
Yeah, I think it's quite a safe fish.
mm.
That they're normally a little bit more appealing, but they're normally sort of fish like this can be a tad underwhelming, and it's only when you see them a sort of Nisai and Sansai that you go, oh wow, that was pretty wild. We pulled out Shiro yesterday up at the farm, And I'm not joking, mate. You would look at it as a tosai and go, nah, absolutely not. I even looked at the picture as tosai. I just went, is that still the same fish? And I'm looking at it like that, just going, no way, that's unbelievable. We'll probably stick it on Facebook over the next couple of days.
Wow.
And this is obviously a different variety, but it's not too different in the sense that you'll see this fish on when it's bigger, and it'll become sort of apparent.
Mm-hmm. That Benny's just phenomenal as well, isn't it? It's just, I think sometimes we can get into a bit of the trap of just bypassing over the fact that the Benny's so good because, you know, I think last week we had some Sakai stuff on, and it's just like maybe we don't speak about the Benny quality, but pretty much all of them, the Benny is cock on. You know, there's no odd scales that's darker than the other, or you know, the auction fish that we're putting up, there's no Benny fading. Like the quality is so consistent from these farms. It's, you know, I guess we need to talk it up more and maybe sell it a bit more because people maybe just bypass over it because we don't talk about how good that Benny is.
Well, I think we're probably a bit institutionalized to it because
Yeah.
such is the standard. Even like the base standard is pretty damn high. So when we get examples that are really nice, it just like wow, yeah, it's one of those ones. You've got kahaku, red and white fish. It needs to have both pigments pretty cock on. I know it sounds really obvious to say,
Yeah.
But this is that sort of kagura, that influence on that Benny style just comes through all the time on these danichi kahaku. Nice sort of adome, that technical stop at the back. Someone was asking me what the importance of adome. So if for those of you that aren't familiar, it's basically this stop in the pattern at the back of the fish. Sometimes it can run too far and it's too small. Sometimes it's too big. This is not far off being fairly cock on. Maybe the pigment could run a little bit further into the body. But yeah, what it does is it creates this focal point for the body mass of the fish. So if you can imagine from a visual perspective, if that red runs into that white tail, it creates this funneling effect. So you could have a fish with the same body mass, but without that adome at the back of the fish, and it has a visual impact on the overall image of the fish. So that's why it's quite important, or why it can be quite important.
That's a really good way of analysing it, to be fair.
We did it a while back, but it wasn't a very convinced. It wasn't. It just looked fake. I couldn't alter the image well enough to display my point. But basically, I ran two fish, the same fish, and then digitally altered one of them so that the pigment ran all the way into the tail. And even with the same fish, visually, it looked like the one that had all the pigment running into the tail was smaller or had less mass at the back, but nothing different. It was just a visual, like an illusion. So that is one of the reasons why that white creates visual mass at the back of the fish.
Well, I think at 60 quid, this is an absolute steal for anyone.
Yeah, mate.
And a bit
100%.
quiet last 5 minutes, we've not had any bids. So, to you, I guess we look to wrap this one up.
Yeah. We'll give it to the end of this video and then last orders.
Paul Hutchinson in at 70. It's got those lovely like Mickey Mouse shaped ears as well. What the? I just had a video start playing on my PC. Scared me half to death. Sorry.
All right.
You're like a motorbike.
Like that,
sorry, I thought it were on stream. I thought you had a motorbike in your loft. I apologise. God, that scared me half. Scared me half to death. I apologise. Yeah, it's 70 quid. Not bad going on this one.
Yeah, Kevin popping in there. Might be a bit of a lag on his, but we're looking for 75 at the moment.
Got a question from Dylan. Is payment only through bank transfer as a way to collect and pay the fish in cash?
Bank transfer or over the phone with the dealer. Yeah.
Yeah, so through one of our approved dealers, Dylan, on our Koi Wholesale website. Yeah,
I guess if you want to go to the dealer and pay cash in store, then that's not the end of the world. But yeah. So I guess, yeah, in that sense, if you can get to the dealer within the next day or two, pay the cash, I've not got an issue with that. But yeah, we've got a fairly quick turnaround with the payment schedule. So yeah, it would depend on how quickly you could do that, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Crafty, pop it up there.
85 quid at the minute with Paul. See if anyone wants to come back to him on that one.
Mate, give me 2 moments. I could just hear a right kerfuffle going on downstairs.
Yeah, no worries. Well, we're home alone, guys. Anything goes now. The big bosses are out, so 85 quid with Paul Hutchinson. I'm going to look to wrap this one up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Paul Hutchinson, well done, mate. Maybe see you this weekend if you're at the show. We'll move on to fish number C. Benny kikuru. Yeah, bit different, innit? So this one's Ikarashi. We've obviously seen the Ikarashi farm over the last few auctions. Anyone who has been a subscriber of the magazine since the very beginning will remember this certain Benny Kiko. Well, I'm fairly certain that Benny Kiko is from the same lineage as this one. This one I think has got quite a bit still to do with the. I think the sumi quality is pretty good as it is, but I think it can go that bit better as well in the right conditions. We've got Chris
can you
back.
hear me, mate? I'm back.
Yeah, I've got you back.
Yeah, we had a sun cream in the eye situation, mate.
Oh dear, sun cream in the eye.
Yeah. Which, yeah, is never good.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Ikarashi Benny Kiko, mate.
Yes, yeah.
So this guy, or this farm, was pretty damn influential when it comes to sort of Kikurio, Benny Kiko, Kikurio in general, to be honest with you. Is a little bit wild when it comes to producing bits like this, anything sort of metallic, Hikari sort of based. Yeah, it's it's pretty nuts, to be honest with you. I always like going there because you sort of go in and you're like, oh, what the hell is that? What's going on here? And he's sort of like prattling around with different bits and pieces. But Benny Kiko is always pretty high up in terms of standard from this farm. So, yeah, metallic shine on the fish. Yeah, it's for those of you that got windows, yeah, it sort of ticks a few boxes in that sense.
Yeah, to be fair, for a Doitsu fish, it's got a decent body, decent head shape, nice scale line right down the spine as well. Again, it's just with Doitsu varieties, it's not my bag, so to speak. But I can appreciate the qualities of this one. With that deep sumi, I think the sumi could go darker. If it's like just looking at it, I think there's a bit there yet for it to go jet black. But I really like how all the fins have got that kind of metallic grey shine on it.
So often with Benny Kiko, they sort of take 2 routes, and with with sort of my experience, that the skin will go darker, that's for sure. But weirdly, with a lot of Benikiko lineages, they look pretty cluttered at a young age, and you also get Sumi regression. So we sort of live in hope always that the regression occurs where the Sumi sat on the Beni. So now, obviously, in the event that that does start to happen, you're left with a pretty wild patterned fish, because you got probably the most electric type of Beni you can find, coupled with really deep sort of Sumi skin and that metallic luster. So the combination of the two make them quite. You've probably seen over the years we've always got quite a stockist of Benikiko, because they can be the type of variety that really sort of diamond in the rough. They come out of nothing. So the base is good for this fish. Nice body line, good metallic shine, strong pigment. We just sort of look for a bit of good fortune.
Is it the same genetics as this one?
No.
Do you know? No, is it different? I thought it was the same.
Well, that's a Marasaka fish, I believe.
Right, okay.
I mean, that was from 2 years ago, so I could stand to be corrected, but I'm pretty sure that's a Marasaka fish, who again will be the guy in terms of developing fish that have growth potential in Benikiko lineage. But it wouldn't surprise me if there's some genetic influence or some genetic sharing between the two farms.
Yeah.
It's a bit like people say, "Oh, that shell is a little bit akin to sort of like a danichi fish that I've got," but it's not from danichi. Well, there will be a good chance that somewhere along the line there is danichi influence in a lot of Showa bloodlines. Same with Issa Koi Farm, for example. So yes, it wouldn't surprise me if there's some sort of influence there, but to what degree, I don't know if it's off the note.
Well, there's a question for you then, Chris. How did you come around to choosing that front cover then? The fish front cover.
Well, I sort of remember having a bit of a brainstorm and saying, this is the concept. We've got to kick off with these appreciation pages. So they run throughout all the magazines. There's appreciation about a particular variety. And I think at the time we were sort of had a bit of a thing, or Benikiko was sort of doing the rounds online or whatever. And we just thought that would be a good starting point.
Yeah, I fell in love with it when it was released, because I don't know, it kind of, I mean, that fish is absolutely not for the purist, is it? I mean, I know it won a lot of accolades in Japan, but it's just, I don't know, there was something different about it, a fish that I'd never seen.
Yeah,
and you just knew the magazine were going to be a little bit different.
That was the basis of it as well, trying to educate people on varieties that perhaps they're not so familiar with. Or they think they know about it, but they just disregard them because, I don't know, they don't win prizes in the UK, but obviously in Japan they're taken quite seriously, like high quality examples. So
yeah,
there's that's just the way it is. The world, there's a big world in koi, and the UK represents quite a small area of it. So it's just about widening people's understanding. You know, like you said, you've never really been into Deutsch fish, full stop. Not to say that we're looking to change people to stock the whole pond full of Deutsch fish, just to try and understand them a little bit more and appreciate them.
It's about education, isn't it? And you know, I think sometimes they can just be dismissed outright because people's eyes just go straight to Wagoy. But I don't know. I think once you start to appreciate good ones and you see good ones, and you know how many bad ones you've had to go through to get a decent one, I think then you start to appreciate them.
I've spoken to a few breeders, and like typically you say, what's the hardest variety to breed, and a lot of them will say Sankey, but also a lot of the sort of Deutsch breeders will say Benikiko. Like very hard variety to breed. Like to get a good one, really difficult to achieve. Hard to get good body, hard to get good. A lot of deformities in the breeding process.
Right.
That's in general with Deutsch metallic fish, but particularly you're looking at fish that when they're young, they're pretty underwhelming. You know, there's a lot of risk versus reward with this variety. So
Yeah.
Looks like Kevin's on his own with this one. So we'll wrap this one up, mate, and move on to the next one.
Well done, Kevin.
Yeah, cracking fish for that price, mate.
Moving on. The last of the smaller fish I'll say tonight. I think we have got one smaller fish, but the last danichi kahaku tonight, I wanted to save this one till last because out of the three, this was probably my favourite just because it's a bit weird and wonderful. I think it's got different qualities to both the other two we've had. But yeah, I kind of like that messiness to this one. I think it's one of them fish that if somebody were to take it and send us in a video in, 10 weeks or whatever and grown it on, I'll probably remember it because it's got them quirky features to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost sort of Ippon, as in one sort of continuous belly pattern. I like those lateral intricacies.
Yeah.
It's a bit lost on a small fish because it hasn't got body mass. But guess what I'm going to do now, mate? When it does that, that's the one. Then it becomes a little bit more. I mean, it's not so sat on the top of the fish that, sometimes you could get a pattern that the bedding doesn't wrap around the body enough. So when it does build in mass, it's lost a little bit. But this one, as the body mass moves up, you're going to see the sort of intricacy of the pattern on both sides as well. It's not as if it's just one-sided.
Yeah, I think it's got like a quite a long head as well. Probably my favourite feature has to be the dorsal as well, straight cutting that pattern down the middle.
Lovely dorsal, mate. Yeah.
Lovely dorsal. Yeah, it's just all round some stunning features to this. Probably out of the three, as like I say, my favourite. Just that long head.
But probably not an obvious choice though.
No, maybe that's just my preference, but
I think it takes a little bit of vision with this one.
yeah, well, we'll see if anyone wants to get started at 50 quid on this one.
Not with the toe side, basically. So if there's ever certificates, we'll notify you guys. Okay.
Got to appreciate a good dorsal crafty.
Yeah. No comment.
Oh, we got no one starting us. Again, probably just my preference, but I'm a bit shocked by that one.
Listen, it's whenever you're doing these live things, it does change the game a little bit, doesn't it? So
yeah, true. No, so we've got Paul starting us at 50 quid. Well in, Paul. Already got one tonight. After another danichi. Play the video again. Yeah, we'll have to get some more videos sent in to us of fish that have been sold through these auctions. Really enjoyed seeing that Sankey that were growing on previous.
yeah, that was nuts. That was. Do you know what? When that went up for sale, I knew exactly why it went up for sale. Rick's got a thing about having red in or near the tail. I just looked at the rest of the fish and I was like, that's nuts. And at the time, I know a lot of people, there was a few people online that were like, bloody hell, that's a lot of money to spend on a toe side, like unsexed, blah, blah, blah. Mate, that fish looks cheap now.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
There ain't a chance you're picking up Nisai fish like that from Sakai anywhere near that sort of quality.
And the Benny of the tails receded as well.
Yeah, it's pulled back, yeah. Which again, that's the thing. It's like when you go and see a breeder, and if they're unsure about a fish, and they're like, "Well, that could do something," it's just not for sale, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, just say Chagoy. That doesn't mean it's their absolute best fish. It just means it's not for sale. Yeah, I'm going to keep it because there's something about it, or they want to learn from the fish, or it's got traits that they've seen before that they want to see if it's strong enough within the genetics to sort of carry on through the generations. We're not dissimilar. We're a farm as well. We'll see fish that we're just like, if you sold it as Tosai, it could be completely undervalued, whereas at sort of Sansai, it'll peak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily saying that that small fish is worth thousands of pounds at this point in time, but it's still a valuable fish moving forward. So if you want to take it off of our hands, exactly the same in Japan. I've had it before. I've been with Rick before at Kokai, and he had a pond of Chagoy. And I mean, it's not a big place, but it is pretty wild. They do some pretty nuts varieties. And he was after a Deutsche Achiever, and literally to say Rick paid through the nose, Deutsche Achiever like that, breeding was just like, not for sale, not for sale, not for sale, not for sale.
Wow.
And then eventually broken down, and it was a ridiculous fish, mate, but
it
wasn't worth what was paid at that point for a fish that size. Try and buy that fish fast forward 3 years when it's sort of like 65 cm, looking the nuts, then it looks cheap.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of risk in between there. So
I suppose it's like
Paul's got this one.
65 quid.
I think that's a good buy.
Should we call it there?
I think so, mate.
Well done, Paul. Here we go then. Put my neck on the line and said I think this one's going to be pretty a popular piece.
So I've had a few messages about it. So so I mean, I guess Chagoy. When we think sort of Chagoy, I mean the go-to farms: Hirasawa or Marase, Marido, Marihiro. But Iker actually does do some decent Chagoy, and Chiba he does quite a lot of, and they have a very, very unique tone of char or brown to them, with this really intricate sort of scalation on the fish as well, and that sort of depth of sort of Albany sort of, I don't even know what colour you would describe it as, but it is just a bit wild, this sort of tone.
It's kind of like a lot of people now are referring to them as chocolate chags.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit actually, yeah.
Chocolate chags. And to be fair...
Is that what people are calling them?
Yeah, chocolate chags is what I've heard. But there's...
What's a normal chag?
Just a chag. But the word Chagoy, in my mind, what I've learned, or the bullshit I've heard, you'll tell me. So the char means tea, doesn't it? And goy means carp or whatever. So it should look like a tea colour. So I was speaking with Alan, and he said that these chocolate chags, like on the show scene, they have absolutely no, like, they're just not Chagoy, essentially. Like, they're just not. But I think that this is like almost like a different variety. I think if they're breeding them with this really dark brown colour, which we're seeing so many of them now coming into the country, I think Marasai breeds a lot of brown ones as well. And
he's ironically, mate, he's the classic pale olive coloured sort of Chagoy. Yeah, he's like the Don. For my opinion, is the original sort of go-to lineage. And then you got like Akawa who's doing quite a lot of these darker style Chagoys. But ultimately, I don't think too many people are buying Chagoys with a view to sticking it in a show.
Exactly. No, I just kind of
Chagoy are all about what they are about. They're a
Yeah,
beautiful fish. So simple, so aggressive on the food. I mean, they grow like mad. I mean, what's the size on this one?
35
I mean, it's
for a
35. Is it
torso.
really?
Yeah,
Wow. So it's just sort of dwarfing all of its sort of
it's
siblings
just a
that were
long fish.
in and amongst it.
I think we need to appreciate the chocolate ones though, because they are different. You know, to some of the, like the Hirasawa ones and that we've sold earlier this year. I just think that they're just different, and you know, if you're looking for that tea color, that's fine. But I almost think this is like a different variety. You know how you get Hiotsuri and Kiyotsuri? It's almost just saying, well, that that Kiyotsuri is not the right color because they should be a Hiotsuri. I don't know, that it kind of feels like there's a different variety there, but they just kind of get put under this Chag umbrella. Um,
It's just a different slant on Chagoy for me. I mean, like I
yeah,
say,
yeah,
this will probably come from an Achieva spawning. So this is where you get that more sort of unique tone to the brown sort of
right,
colour. You get a
okay,
bit more of a rustiness, but what you do get with it, with this style, is this mad scale outline, which
yeah,
when they get bigger and when the skin starts to thicken, the fukarin on examples like this looks insane.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, for me, I mean, you know, Alan far more technical on that side of things, but for me, it's a fish to enjoy at home.
yeah. Alan says he's seen them described as red Chagoy. I've not heard that one, but they are kind of
Okay,
a bit
yeah,
red
yeah,
in
I could
color,
see
aren't
that.
they?
Yeah,
It's like a red brown.
yeah, I could see that. Either
Yeah,
way, I mean, I guess that's where you can either choose to sort of fall into the technical side and not look at ultimately. If someone says to me, "What's the most technical?" If you got a bowl of the most technical show orientated fish, I'll give my honest appraisal. That might be different to the fish that I would buy for myself.
hmm
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if I'm not showing my fish and I'm looking at it day in, day out, I might want different sort of characteristics to enjoy.
yeah, yeah.
Same as if
I don't.
you're working to a budget and you go, I want to get fish as big as possible. Well, that might be that you have to compromise on pattern or skin quality.
Mm, I
So
don't.
there's loads of things to consider.
I had a friend come round to have a look at my collection and to like help me decide what I was going to bring to the show this weekend. And he said, "Oh, you should bring your Karashigoi." And I'd never thought about taking it because it's a Karashigoi, and I don't think I'm going to, because I don't think there's much to them. I'm a sucker for a single color fish, and I
Mm,
really enjoy having it in my pond. But I didn't buy that to show it. I bought it to grow it and to just
yeah,
for it being a Karashigoi. And I'm just not there for single color fishing. In showing unless the Ginrin. I think some Ginrin examples can be totally stunning. But yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a fish that I'd happily grow because of just the appreciation that I can do with it. Forget what would happen on a show scene. I'm not bothered if it's going in my collection. I'm buying it for me, not for the show. Totally agree.
yeah. I thought this might grow arms and legs. We've got Dave Gardner in at 320. He's got a Shiro Suri on your way to you tomorrow, Dave. It'll be with you Friday, just to give you a heads up. Been a bit of a day of it today.
Yeah, it has got quite a big head, this Chagoy. A couple of people mentioning that. It's just wide, isn't it? I think
Sort of
it's
catch
still
that
got.
spine as well, don't you? When it sort
Yeah.
of turns and the light catches it. Just unique sort of Chagoy, really, mate.
Mm.
I think it's the type of example that won't be for some, but if I mean, let's put it this way: how do you buy a unique Chagoy? You've not really got too many options, have you?
No, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah,
No, they're always popular at the farm, these, aren't they, Chagoy?
yeah, always, mate. It's yeah, one of those varieties that till the dawn of time, Chagoys will always be in demand. So it looks like Dave's edging this one out. Ben or Kevin, if you're still in, please let us know. Play the video one more time, mate.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for letting us know there, Ben.
There's always more fish, Ben. Kevin, 3:30. Amanda there saying everyone needs a friendly chag. 100%.
Absolutely.
At least someone in this house will appreciate me.
They're just like a staple variety, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what? When I used to run the shop, it's really odd how fish would respond to the new environment. And you get some tosai that would come in, and literally they would sit at the back of the tank for 3-4 weeks, wouldn't come out.
Right.
For the whole QT period, they would just, 4 or 5 weeks, they would just sit at the back, barely feed, or come up to feed and then go right back to the back of the pond. So once they were out of QT, we always used to have a selection of Chagoys in all the time. So once QT's done, stick a couple of Chagoy in, no more than that, and I guarantee you by the end of the day, all the fish will be up feeding.
Wow.
It's absolutely bizarre. And
It
I've
is,
asked
isn't it?
breeders this before, like what is it about them? I think they've got ideas, but they don't know the actual the science behind it. They just say they're just predisposed to feed. They're just completely in tune with feeding, and they associate people with feeding. So straight away, you make that connection, and yeah, people, food. Yeah, I'm going over there.
There's two varieties to me that are like that. I think Karashigoi are a bit wild. I think there's something wild about Karashigoi. Whereas Soragoi, Ochiba, Chagoy, obviously Soragoi and Ochiba kind of been the same thing, but them two are the tamest by far, Soragoi and Chagoy. They just seem to be on a different level. I think Karashigoi can be like at that level, but there's still a wild element to a Karashi. Yeah,
It's
it's
not
weird that.
soggy, I know that.
But not Asagi, no. I mean, I think they spook my Soragoi, to be fair, in my pond, Asagi. They just come up and then they go and
Yeah,
get about 5 pellets and dart off. And even the Sansai have got about 60 centimeters. Like, it still behaves like that.
yeah.
It's difficult.
So we've got a comment there. There is an error on the website, annoyingly. So if you do want to participate, we've got dealer networks around the UK. So yeah, I don't know whether you've got.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know if we've got anything to put on screen right now, but rest assured, wherever you are in the UK, we'll have a dealer. Not so. Yeah, the back end of the website is a bit technical for me. Probably best I don't get involved with it. But yeah, I think it's being looked at, but it's a bit of a gremlin in the system. So I think where are we at with this one, Dave? 340. He's getting a Shiro on Friday. Looks like he's going to get a Chagoy as well at this rate. So
yeah, not bad going.
no, I think Sam saying there, unless you're in Scotland. I think we've got
No, he's not on the
Aberdeenshire up in Scotland.
possibly. Not sure if he's on the list.
Oh, right, but yeah, you can put the fish through him.
Yeah.
At Gary at Aberdeenshire, Coy Sam. So yeah, I know Aberdeen is, Scotland's a big old place, but yeah, that's a possible option. So Kevin not letting go of this one. Sat at 350. Dave, if you're in, buddy, please let us know, or we'll look to wrap this one.
play the video one last time.
A question there from Richard. I know this is not Ginrin, but do Ginrin Chag grow as big as normal Chagoy? I mean, they've still got potential to grow to a decent size because they have got that sort of shared genetic information. Much like with any variety, once you start adding things or taking things away, like removing scales to make it Deutz or adding metallic scales to make it Ginrin, generally speaking, you'll lose a little bit of size, and that's where the normal or non-Ginrin Wagoy are always just edging because they never stop slowing down as well. The genetics keep improving year on, year out. I mean, you've got people like Danichi that are trying to create a 1.15 koi. So even when the Ginrin fish start to catch up and get really big, they're getting even bigger. So there always seems to be that gap will narrow from season to season, but then generally speaking, there's far more non-Ginrin Chagoy bred than Ginrin Chagoy. So the genetic pool to choose from for non-Ginrin is far bigger, far more invested in. So generally speaking, I would say as a sort of sweeping comment, they don't get as big, but that's not to say that they can't get big.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds like a bit of a politician's answer.
No, I know what you mean, yeah.
There would certainly be examples out there where good quality Ginrin Chagoy will far outpace and grow average Chagoy, normal Chagoy. But generally speaking, I mean, you go to like Hirasawa, for example, like Marase, he's got Chagoy for fun. And I mean, like, it'll grow 90 plus CM Chagoys for fun every year without fail. If you said to him, you know, I wouldn't put it past him, if you had enough money and said next year, or sorry, 4 or 5 years' time, maybe a bit longer than that, 5, 6 years' time, I want 190 plus CM Chagoy, and you had the money to do it, and money set aside so he had the pond space, etc., etc. Yeah, no problem.
Wow.
They could do it. They could do it, no problem. I've had customers grow fish from that farm that weren't particularly dear, Chagoy wise, in excess of sort of 85 easy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, it's nuts, mate. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So Dave, just nudging this one out. I know we've got a lag going on, so it's a bit tricky to call this one, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
I don't know whether someone wants to sort of just nudge away a bit further, or Kevin, if you want to draw a line under it, please let us know, buddy. Yeah, still going. So back to Dave. Dave's out. No worries. Fair enough. Thanks, Dave. So Kevin, fair play. Really wanted to keep hold of that one, and I don't think. I don't think you won't see too many like that moving forward. So happy days.
Bonkers.
On to the next one.
Well done, mate. So what have we got next? Deutsche Kogane Achiba.
I don't know if people get these.
Well, I didn't think it were an Achiba to begin with. You told me about this. I thought it was like a lemon Deutsch Harawaki or something like that.
No, it's Deutsche Kogane Achiba, unless anyone wants to disagree with me. But yeah, you just got that tone of skin, that sort of silvery bluey tone to the white skin, silver skin, should I say. Then you got these sort of brassy, yellowy sort of Achiba-based colours in the skin. So this guy, Ikarashi Azumi, he prats around quite a lot. So Kikurio, Benny Kiko, we've already mentioned, Kikurio in general. So there's sort of a crossover along the way in the making of them, but they've just got a different tone of colour. Different in a sense that it's got a complete. It's not Kikurio. It's not got that yellowy. It's got this sort of brassy tone with the silver skin. So yeah, all in all, they're a bit of a unique fish. I mean, they're not for everyone. But in terms of the unique variety, one thing that I have found with them, they're not shy on growing. As a Deutsch fish, yeah.
They've still got that Ochiba genetic in there.
Somewhere in there, mate. Yeah, that they've got that sort of ability to achieve decent sizes. So, yeah, you can see that sort of backbone with that high shine on the almost like pulling back foil, sort of. You know what I mean? Like that high shine on the dorsal line there, on the backbone, which is just a nice. Nice feature, skin quality attribute. I think we see, let me roll down to it. Where is it? Yeah, you probably see on the video where it moves through the water a little bit more. See that sort of.
It's like it looks like stainless steel, doesn't it? That's what it. Yeah, it does look like. I know we talk about metallic fish, but it really is metallic. This thing.
That's where you can actually expose and see the width of that sort of backbone as well.
Yeah.
That's where that frame of that fish is just pushing that skin right to the surface, keeping that skin under tension, which keeps that shine high on the backbone, which gives it a slightly different appearance to the rest of the body.
Yeah.
Nice sort of kikuru style line of scales along the dorsal. So you see that crossover there as well, nicely arranged. But yeah, all in all, quite a unique pond fish, really, mate. And you tend
100%.
to find with these, the brassiness of the colour will fluctuate with the year. So you actually get a slightly different appearing, different. That's not good English. Slightly different appearance throughout the season as well, which just ties in with that sort of Chiba sort of autumnal kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So you tend to find when it's cooler, this sort of brassy colour really starts to lighten up, like really lightens. You can sort of almost see the tones of it on the top of the gill plates.
Yeah.
And then when it's a little bit warmer, it tends to sort of darken a little bit, as does the base colour of the fish. So yeah, quite a quirky, unique sort of variety. Certainly not a lot of information about them out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm quite a fan of this fish, to be fair, just because they're so rare. I've not seen one before. When you told me it was one, you can kind of see that Achiba in it. I guess it's just a really clean fish as well. I kind of want to see what it looks like when it's heated up, this fish, and see what color it goes to, because I guess it's like being able to appreciate two different fish. Because you've
Yeah,
got
ironically, it has lightened quite a bit already.
How's it?
Yeah, when it was in the polytunnel, sat at sort of 28 degrees 6 weeks ago. They lose that sort of intensity a little bit at that sort of extreme temperature, and then they're being pushed on food as well. But one thing that is retained is that skin quality.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's key with a metallic fish. Got to have that high metallic shine, which this fish has. So yeah. But I thought this might be a bit of a divisive fish. It's a bit of a Marmite variety. I don't think a lot of people sort of get them. So yeah, I think Colin's picked himself up a decent fish here for a decent price, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And you've certainly not got masses of choice with this variety, that's for sure.
No.
So yeah, I think unless anyone else is involved, we'll draw a line under this one as well, buddy.
Well done, Colin.
Yeah,
play the video one last.
Oh,
Paul in at 105. I was just about to play the video one last time there. Colin, if you want to let us know if you want to come in, sneaking it right at the death there, Paul. Have you seen this comment? Nice comment there about the latest edition of Koi Talk.
I enjoyed that as well, to be fair.
I don't know what current companies are investing in it. The ones that are out there that are insect based, the rest of the ingredients they're using is terrible. So although it's got the insect meal in it, I still wouldn't recommend that food. There's, I think Coppens has had a go with it, and Sarah is one that's manufacturing it in Germany. But I've reached out to them to comment in the magazine, and they've not replied yet. So
I believe JBL as well, another German company, I think. But the thing is, a lot of these companies, they'll have feeds made for them for a bigger manufacturer, and then just sort of redistribute them. So I would say probably Altec, Coppens. Are they Altec now, or are they Coppens, or Altec Coppens?
Altec Coppens, yeah.
I would imagine they're probably in Europe one of the bigger movers in terms of investment in that side of things.
Yeah, that's it, Crafty. There's some with insect meal in it, and then they fill it full of poultry meal as well. So I think we need someone who's using it as the main protein source. Anyway, Colin's out, Paul's in at 15. So are we happy to call it there?
Yeah, Colin's out. Yeah. Sorry about that, Colin. That's almost snip that one. So yeah, we'll draw a line under that one, buddy.
Moving on. Oh, I think this one's going to be fairly popular as well. I was really pleased with how the photo came out on this because I wanted to capture them snowy white features on it, to be fair. And
it's sort of one of those ones that when you're actually up close to it, you can sort of appreciate the detail that a non-pattern fish can have.
I think this variety is specifically hard to picture as well because you've got to capture. I don't know. I think you've just got to get the photo bang on, or if it's a bit dark and the lighting's not right, they just look dull. Whereas I think this one, you can see it in the video as well. It's proper mad.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I mean, it's really just with the dorsal and then pec fins are absolutely mad.
I'll give you that. That dorsal does do a lot for this fish.
It's just the features of it.
Yeah, this is the type of fish that the finnage is actually going to play quite an important role, because if it
100%.
maintains that real white outline, you see the sumi building in the tail end as well.
Yeah.
So you're going to end up, and you'll get it in the base of the dorsal. You can see it just where the dorsal's folded over slightly.
Mm-hmm.
You're sort of going to get this quite harmonious sort of pigment in each part of the fin, which as the fish gets bigger, it's just going to be outlined by that killer sort of white finnage.
Mm-hmm. No, I really like this one. I was pleased with how the video and photo came out on this one. So only 100 quid.
It now, mate, haven't you?
You what? Sorry.
You killed it now by saying you like it.
I know that seems to be the way. Amanda's seen the value in it, 100 quid.
What is it? Amanda. Commentator's curse.
Commentator's curse, yeah. Oh dear. No, and these. I think we had Benny Ginga earlier this year that we had a real big bidding war over. So I expect this one to be fairly popular at the minute. Just a mandarin.
Benny Ginga in general are just a bit of a nuts variety. Like the demand really outstrips the supply. Most sort of breeders, again, I don't have direct experience breeding Benny Ginga, but quite a tough variety to nail, especially when you've got sort of established crossovers like Kajaku, and you've got established farms that can get massive sizes on Kajaku. So just that sumi style that's a bit different with Benny Kajaku, and that Benny is a little bit more, I don't know, how do you describe it, a bit more electric.
To me, they're like Benny Ginga, sorry, they're like a metallic goshki.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say that before, yeah.
There's just that it's got that same Benny effect as a goshki, hasn't it? It's like vibrant, like neon coloured, but in a metallic skin that's just kind of, it's like a glowing effect underneath the scale line.
Yeah, I mean, a few years back, sort of the red style kajaku started popping up as well. People started sort of calling them Benny kajaku, you know what I mean? So you got more of this reddish sort of colour. And then at that point, it seems like the Benny Ginga sort of, started to take off, where there was a bit more of a demand, a bit more stability with that Benny style, with the Benny Ginga. But hard to achieve in a kajaku sporting.
Yeah.
Amanda on her own here.
Yeah.
Commentators first, mate.
I know.
Next one, you just say you hate it, okay?
Well, I think I might have changed my mind on this.
No, nothing wrong with that fish, mate. It's just perhaps doesn't capture the imagination.
Possibly not.
Actually, the scale detail, it's hard to pick up in the picture or the video because you've got such intensity of colour. But the scale detail on this fish is pretty damn good. I think what you're going to find with age and a bit of TLC, you're going to see fukurin building up. And at that point, if you start to get that speckled sort of Shiroji mapping and sort of bouncing around that fish, it's going to look a bit wild.
It is. I love it. We got Sean in at 105. Apologies, Amanda. I think we were close to ending that one. Sean at the death.
Yeah, still a snip though at 105. So again, one of those varieties. And size point, that's where we're a little bit unique, because I don't think you're really importing sort of these sizes of fish. A bit bigger, yeah. A bit smaller, yeah. But this just sort of sits somewhere in between. It's not sort of like a several £100 fish, and it's not a sort of £50 fish. It's sort of it's a unique category, because you don't sort of pick up with these types of varieties loads of this sort of size range. So yeah, interesting one.
So we've got 3 from having just Amanda in. We've got 3 people in now. We've got Matthew at 115. Anyone going to bump us up on this one before we end?
I think someone's put there, love the pecks. It's a real feature, isn't it, of this fish?
100%, yeah. And actually, that white pigment on the head.
Yeah, he beat me to it. And that's just going to... The tips of the fish are a little bit translucent because it's still a young fish. So obviously as that ages and that white starts to thicken and that sumi starts to deepen, that contrast is just going to get more and more. So yeah, wouldn't surprise me if the sumi expands a little bit, but if it's sort of bordered with that white tip, yeah, happy days. So pec fins can be so important to the overall image of the fish.
And dorsals.
And dorsals, yeah. Don't forget the dorsals. But actually, like, without sort of getting too nerdy about it, yeah, if you look at that sort of as a pec on its own, as you look at that picture, that left one, the way it's positioned, is nigh on perfection.
Yeah. I'd love that in my showers as well.
holds that position of that pec perfectly.
Yeah.
Just
that's an article again, there for the magazine.
Yeah, well, that's just a part of appreciation of a part of a koi that in itself I can enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome, mate. Great little fish. Again, perhaps one that maybe not quite understood, or maybe a tad underwhelming, but yeah, rest assured, the detail, the intricacy of the scalation of this fish, and the metallic luster, superb. So yeah.
Amanda at the death there. So Matthew and Sean out. So Amanda stealing it at 120.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a good
buy.
Amanda. Happy days.
Moving on then. Well done, Amanda. Yeah, this was the other smaller fish we had, but smaller, but still packs the punch of the other ones.
Yeah, one of those ones, little rocket, this fish. There, see it in the video there, mate. Wow. Skin quality is nuts on this fish.
Yeah, we're a lively fish, this one.
It's a little bit, isn't it? Nice
Yeah,
saddle
you can
on
see
that shoulder as well.
Yeah. Eddie, straight in at 100. I think the thing with this fish is your two colours. They're the things that selling it. The white and the Benny. Keep it really simple. Kikasui, you want good white and good Benny. And it's got both. And it's clean as well. There's no real, you know...
High quality shine as well. I think it's
Yeah.
really displayed in that that video.
Just glistening, isn't it?
And it's just little features as well that perhaps with Deutschfish get glossed over for people that are more sort of Chagoy orientated. You just look at that scalation either side of the dorsal.
You're
It's
becoming
literally...
a dorsal maniac, you. I've heard you appreciate it about 5 times tonight.
No, I'm talking about the scale. It's not the actual dorsal.
Yeah, there's almost like a bit of ginrin in that. You know when it's
Yeah, it's quite common. Yeah,
it's like a glistening effect, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, just small features like that just add to the overall image of the fish. Little cheeky bit of kuchibeni as well on the lip. Yeah, tiny little fish this is.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep this one in the bowl that long. It was very lively, this one.
It looks like a nightmare, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
It's one of them fish when they're reversing up like that, it's just looking to fling itself. So it's kind of like, quick, get the video, move it.
Yeah, they're a nightmare, mate.
You get some, don't you?
Always, yeah, yeah. I literally gave up with the Ginmin Asahi on Monday. I just went, listen, pal, me and you are going to fall out in a minute. And yeah, it was not having any of it, mate. So
Nope.
said you're going back in the pond, boy.
Yeah. I did nearly lose my temper the other day, and I did, and I was like, "Would you just stop it?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to talk to a fish. I'm not
Yeah,
going to do it."
no, you
Because
don't get much of a response, mate. I'm afraid.
the other thing as well is you get some fish that just want to feel the side of the bowl against it, and they literally just cling to the side of the
Yeah,
bowl with the pectoral fin in, and the head is literally just going along the side of the bowl, and you're obviously trying to get the picture with both pecs out. It's the most frustrating thing in the world.
it's a safety thing for them. So if they're
Yeah.
isolated in the middle of the bowl, just their instinct kicks in. You know, it's like any fish will huddle to the side if they're under threat. Because if they're out in the middle, they're going to get picked off. So yeah, you just hope that the koi feel safe enough that they can just swim around. There's some fish you stick them in the bowl and they'd start feeding.
Yeah, I've
Which is
seen that
absolutely
before.
bizarre. Yeah. So I've done the curse of the commentator this time, mate. But I still maintain it's a hell of a fish. So yeah, it looks like Eddie's going to walk away with this one. Eddie, who wasn't supposed to be bidding tonight. Hopefully you don't get in too much trouble, mate.
Oh dear.
So yeah, we'll draw a line under this one unless anyone wants to get involved. So going with Eddie at £100, going once. Oh, I better slow down now. I'll let the video play out.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. It'll be a long 3 seconds.
You need to put a fake name on. We'll call you Freddie instead.
Yeah.
So going once with Freddie Dobinson.
All wear headphones.
Yeah, headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, wicked little fish. So well, yeah, that's that one done for me, mate.
I'll just put the email on for Amanda. Well done, £100 steal. So
Wow.
Shiro, beko. I know you were a fan of this one, weren't you?
Yeah. Just like, do you know what? I'll be honest with you. When again, I know I always go on about it, but when I used to have a shop, people always used to be like, people always used to be like, "You got any Shiro Beko?" I'd be like, "No, but I've got loads of Shiros." They're not like a mega easy variety to come across. When you think about it, it's not as if like you can pick up Shiro Beko the way you can Shiro Tsuri or Kahaku
No.
or Showa. So when you come across a good one, I mean, structure of this fish is ace. You look at the size of that head; it's nuts. Yeah, you see it a bit better there. The length of that head, nice, strong Tajima. Wow, you must be in the doghouse, Eddie. That Tajima and that fin as well. Look at the strength of it. So that is an immediate indication to me that the sumi on the body, I'm going all in on this. You know what I mean? That sumi quality is there with this fish. The slight tint to the head, I'm not bothered about because again, it's a young fish. It's been in warm water, and sumi is still being produced. So I think I've said this a few times. When Shiro, beko, and Shiro Tsuri, or Showa, to be fair, are producing sumi within the skin, it won't be able to perform in terms of shiroji as well as it could do when the sumi is all full.
Yeah, an interesting question here from Colin. What's the difference between a beko and an utsuri? The way I see it is, if you get Showa and Sanki and you take off the beni, if it's a Showa, it's an utsuri, and if it's a beko, it's a Sanki.
It's the sumi style, isn't it?
Sumi style, yeah, and obviously the pec fins as well. Like, if one's a really heavy beko. Interestingly, I was going to ask you about this. So I've done this about 4 times tonight, plugging this magazine, but here we go. So see this beko, it's got Motoguru in the pec.
Yeah.
So there's some people that would say that's a Showa.
Say that again.
Some people would maybe call that a Showa because it has Motoguru in the pec.
Do you mean a Shiro?
Oh, sorry, Shiro. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You had me.
No, a Shiro Tsuri because it's got the Motoguru. And
Might
the
be
sumi, I
one
think.
for Alan, but I can assure you it's a Shiro beko. I mean, sumi style on it. I think that's a Marido fish as well, so it's probably come from a Sankey spawning.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting, isn't
probably
it?
a slight technical aspect, but I wouldn't say the Tajima or Motoguru is the defining feature of that fish. So often with beko, not always, but often you'll see that there's not too much sumi on the head. Again, that's like saying a Sankey can't be a Sankey if it's got sumi on the head, because we know it can. But just typically that tends to be the preferred style, nice white clean head.
Yeah. I mean, by no means am I criticising that beko, by the way. That is an unreal beko.
Yeah.
No, but so another thing as well, some people say beko shouldn't have sumi above the lateral line.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Again, is it a defining feature? Does it then make a fish that is clearly a beko, not a beko, because it's got some sumi below the lateral line? Yes, it's the preferred style. Again, it's probably like, I remember years ago when there's quite a famous Sankey, I think it was a Momotaro fish actually, that had quite a big block of sumi on the head. Oh my god, people lost their shit about this fish because they were like, no, I've always been taught that Sankey don't have sumi on the head. It's just like, well, that's not the defining feature of what makes a Sankey. That's what I go back to. I'm not really one to get too caught up on that side of things. I just sort of look at the fish for what it is and try not to sort of box it in too much, especially if you're not in a show at a show. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because you can still predict what's going to happen with this fish, regardless of whether you could argue the toss whether it's one variety or another.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain pretty much all bekos come from Sankey spawnings. I don't know if anyone's out there breeding a male and female beko. You might be able to tell me
I
about
would say
that.
that would be a pretty underwhelming spawning
Yeah,
if you did
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So yeah, well, look, there you go. You got that absolute killer on the cover there. That Marido fish.
yeah,
That is from Marido, who is a Sankey breeder.
yeah, and that's got sumi on the head, but it's still a beko.
Yeah, but
You know, it's
that's what I mean. If you were to sort of say define that fish because it has a little bit of sumi nudging on the head, the preferred is to have that sort of bald sort of bozu style head where it's just a nice clean white head. But I mean, if you just pull that picture up again, that is just on another world. That is.
yeah, it's unreal.
Same as if that had Benny on it,
Mm-hmm.
that would still be Sankey.
Yeah, 100%.
Wouldn't change it into a shower because it's got sumi on the head. So yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit. It's interesting to chat about it. I just don't get too.
hung up on it.
Yeah, I really don't, mate. And some people would probably chat about that type of stuff all night. Yeah, and I'd
Yeah,
probably just walk out the room. But yeah,
yeah. Well, we've been speaking about it. No one's taking this at 100 quid, which again,
mate, that's nuts.
100, yeah, 100 quid
I
is,
think that's an absolute little steal. That is.
yeah. I
But
think what
it
I,
happens.
my preference is to have Tejme on a beko. I think it makes a difference to the overall fish. I think the sumi on the head of this, like to me, it's not even a demerit. I think it's in line with the fish. It's not like making a difference and a demerit at all. And yeah, the sumi that is up is up in good quality. So I'll play
Yeah.
the video. But yeah, that's another magazine article. Beko versus Shiro. What's the difference?
Well, don't make me write that.
Or maybe we should put up some fish that are very close to being Shiros and Showas. Like, very close, and have people guess what they are.
Yeah, yeah, we can do, mate. Yeah.
But no, yeah, 32 centimeters. To be fair, when you pulled this one out, I thought it was maybe a Sakai fish because we've had quite
Yeah,
a few Sakai Bekos.
you'd be forgiven for that. Yeah, sort of with that sort of body style, it is a little bit of a freak, really. I certainly wouldn't be saying, "Oh, that's definitely an Ikarashi fish for sure."
Yeah.
Phil, fair play. I think you're going to take this one, buddy. So we've been on this one for a little while. Ian now in.
He's a bit
I might have to
behind.
go back to the Beko conversation again, then, mate.
Richard here with a good point. I likes what I like, and the name means bugger all in the end. If you like it, buy it. Fair enough, mate.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
think that's a bit of your mantra, isn't it? If you like it.
Well, the thing is, I always used to get it where people would be like, "Can you pick me? I don't know, pick me a Sankey. Yeah, can you put 3 or 4 in a bowl? Yeah, no dramas. I put them in a bowl. Yeah, I don't like any of them.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I like this one, so I put that one in the bowl. What's the best fish? One of the 3 that I picked. Yeah, but I like that one. Why ask me? So that's the thing. If you're asking for a particular reason, say like someone said, I want a fish that's going to get big. Okay, we can do that. I want a fish that that's going to get big and have great pattern on it. Yeah, we can do that. I want a fish that's going to go to the koi show, win at the koi show. Yeah, we can look at the technical attributes of that. But if you're just sort of looking for fish that you enjoy and like, I can tell you what that fish is likely to do moving forward. But yeah, it's one of those things, mate. Horses for horses.
We got Gareth asking if the dealer link on the website's fixed yet. No, I don't think it's going to be fixed tonight, mate. I'll have a look. I'll have a look and see if we can sort that for next week. But if you buy any fish tonight, Gareth, we can always send you the dealer list afterwards.
Yeah.
Or if you let us know whereabouts in the country you are.
Yeah, like we're pretty fairly well networked around the UK, so hopefully there's someone nearby within an hour or so.
Rick at New Forest in the chat. Nice to see you again.
How we doing, Rick? You all right, buddy?
Ian at 1:15. Philip, do you want to let us know if you're still in, mate? Play the video again. Phil is out.
Fair enough. Job done.
Should we give it to Ian if we don't hear back?
The big one, Friday night, Joe.
What's that?
Luton Chelsea.
I hope Luton win. That'd be funny.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Our record signing is just shy of 2 million, I think.
Already buying for the championship. This is stunning. The photo. I find it really hard to photograph Shisui. I think the video does it more justice.
Yeah, it's one of those fish that certainly is quite I don't know, a bit more impactful in the flesh. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Don't know what it is about the photo. I think it just washes out that Shiroji element of it.
Yeah, nice. Sort of see that red in the pecs, that motoaka. It's nice as well, isn't it? In keeping with the pattern, just that sort of red on the gill plates. Probably expect that sort of Chagoy, that line of scales along the backbone to sort of darken with age as well. So I think you're probably going to get a little bit of enhancement there, if that's the right word.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Nice.
Well,
nice
I didn't realise it was 34 cm. Wow.
Yeah, that's some of these were deceivingly big. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Really deceiving.
Yeah, that's quite impressive, that is. So another variety that are a little bit divisive, aren't they? Shisui. Sort of like people either love them or hate them. I don't like picturing them. I must admit.
I just don't think the picture does them justice. But that scale line, the Shiroji, the Benny, everything's pretty good on it. It's just, the video just does it more justice, and nobody wants to see our mugs, to be fair. Seen enough of that tonight. So we'll just keep the video going.
So, it doesn't look like we've got too many lovers for Shisui tonight. I think we've had a few in the last couple of weeks as well, haven't we? So people are a bit Shisui'd out. Yeah, I mean, I love that comment that Roy Keane came out with, that United are the new Spurs. I mean, if you can't, that is the biggest insult you can get.
I'd laugh, but I'm not in no place to discuss anything about football at the minute, so I'll just stay quiet.
Mate, I'm very aware that, as an Arsenal fan, I'm only ever that far away from sort of becoming the laughing stock of the village.
Somebody was saying that Eric Ten Hag has done like such a fantastic job over the first 40 games he's been at manager. He's got only 3 points less than Pep Guardiola in his first 40, but I'm also like, you do realise he inherited like £1 billion squad and he's spent like 400 million in the last year or so. Like, honestly,
it's weird. I mean, when he came to Man United and then just started trying to buy loads of Ajax players, I do question that.
yeah.
But I think, Rick's got faith in him. He did get. Here we go. Lucky on Monday. Yeah. Make your own luck. Weren't very lucky when Tommy Asu got sent off for no reason.
No, that was ridiculous. That.
Oh mate, it's nuts. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
That's the one thing about watching the Championship now is I'm so glad you don't have VAR. I'm just it's much better without it, to be honest.
I don't get that they can't rescind the yellow card.
Yeah, that's stupid.
So they can't do anything about his suspension. However, McAllister, who got a straight red, has had his rescinded.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I don't see, like, if it wasn't a red, the second, like, I don't, yeah, it's just nuts, mate.
Marcus, £100.
Looks like he's taking this one, buddy.
Yeah, I'm shocked again, but
decent fish for that sort of money. So I think Marcus is on his own there, mate. Should we call that a day on this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well done, Marcus. Good fish there, mate.
I love this fish.
Paul Warren in at the death there.
Sorry.
I know there's a lag. I'd already said it. That's Marcus's. So apologies for that, Paul. It's not a perfect system, I'm afraid, but we'd already sort of given our word there that was Marcus's. So apologies for that lag.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be more Shisui later this year. I think has Ricky got up on full? I hadn't heard out about that, to be fair.
Yeah, we've got a fair amount of Kawakami Shisui going on. So
Kamakami special Shisui auction at some point.
Bit like the Hitsuri this year, mate.
Yeah. No, I like this one. I love that head pattern on it. I think it looks better on the photo. You can see it a bit clearer, but yeah, really cool scalation, decent body, power. What's not to like about this fish? Not often we have Kajaku, to be fair, on here either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of bordering on Benny Ginger, isn't it, mate? That one.
Nearly,
yeah. You'll probably find that Sumi style will build with age. It'll sort of transform that appearance. So, yeah, quite a unique fish in appearance, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got size-wise, sort of, again, trying to place that in terms of shipping fish from Japan. Sort of get bigger, smaller. It's a weird sort of. I quite like this kind of size fish because you can sort of go underneath the radar a little bit. You can still see there's a decent fish in front of you, but perhaps doesn't come with quite the price tag because you've not had the high shipping rates. I mean, at the moment, even if you're buying cheap Nisai, this is the thing. Every year we get it from dealers. Got any cheap big fish? That's it happens all the time. No is the answer. It's just not doable at the moment. It's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the prices in Japan have not really changed. I think Rick said it a few times as well. You go into some of these boys, Mahiro, Hirasawa, Otsuka, blah blah blah. The same pond setup every year. The price has been the same since day dot. They just don't go up in price. But what affects it massively? Exchange rate, shipping, handling fees, etc. So
when I was in Japan, though, that goes for everything. I think in Japan, from what I understand, like when you brands in Japan, like inflation is pretty much not a thing over there. Like, you know, you go into a 7-Eleven and everything is so cheap. And I've read something on the internet that this brand had once put its price up, and because they put the price up, like everybody in Japan had like
Boycotted them, yeah.
boycotted it, and brands go under all the time because if they can't survive inflation, that's it. They just collapse. Like inflation in Japan is just not a thing, from what I hear. I don't know how that works like economically. I have no
It
idea.
doesn't surprise me that something gets boycotted like that. I mean, I think if you sort of try and rock the boat over there, I don't think that they're ones to sort of yeah, take it lying down. So yeah, but it just sort of gets out of hand at the moment. I mean, someone was talking to me about mortgages the other day. My mate's a mortgage broker, and he's just like, it's hard work at the moment. But probably getting a bit negative here, mate, aren't we? Should we start talking about sweets again? What's your favourite ice cream? Oh, that's a good topic.
Rum and raisin.
Oh, you're going for an actual flavour of ice cream. Okay, I was thinking an actual.
What you were thinking 99?
No, I was thinking like a Twister or something like that.
All right, okay. Oh, I don't know. I don't really eat ice lollies. Maybe a Twister. I don't know what they're called.
What, Magnum?
No, it's fake chocolate in it.
Okay.
No, not for me. Not for
You
me.
don't like chocolate?
No. What's
You don't?
yours? I do like chocolate, but when it's frozen, it's not real chocolate, though, is it? You know, like you get what's it called? The things you put at the that they come in a little box in the freezer, and my dad used to get them
Oh,
all
ice cubes.
the time. No, they're like I don't know. They're like a lasagna with ice cream and chocolate. I can't think of the word
What
for
the
it.
hell?
I can't. It's like ice cream, chocolate, ice cream, chocolate. I can't think of what the name is
Viennetta.
for it. Viennetta. That chocolate, like you chew it, and it's
Oh,
not.
I don't. Yeah, so my old man has got a thing about Viennettas. It's a bit of an ongoing joke in our family. I mean, he could probably destroy 2 Viennettas back to back. I can't stand them.
I can't
I'll
stand
give
them
you that.
either.
The chocolate on a Viennetta is not good.
It's
Oh, we've got someone
gross.
just said a Viennetta. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tutti Frutti,
Oh,
Screwball. Wow, remember them? We've got another rum and raisin fan here as well.
yeah. Team rum
Yeah,
and raisin. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we've
Keep the
got
comments
side.
coming in, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, we got Dale's put in a bit of 100, but obviously a bit behind. We got New Forest in at 110. Oyster whipped ice cream in a shell with red juice. Oh yeah, in like the plastic cone thing.
Sounds a
I
bit
don't
dodgy.
know.
That.
I do love it. Just a standard clotted cream ice cream, though. I have to say.
I mean, Mr. Whippy is pretty damn good.
Yeah, they're expensive now. I went to a Mr. Whippy and they take contactless now. I'm like, that's strange to me. But yeah, me and my wife, we had 2 ice creams with a flake. I mean, the flake was a bad decision, to be fair, but I think I paid about £7 for 2 ice creams.
I
With a
never forget when I was a kid. I was at my mate's house. He lived in a bit of a rough area near Luton. We went to go and we were probably like 13, 12, 13. We went to the ice cream van and we went up to order our ice creams. And the ice cream man just went, "Do you want any fags, boys?"
Oh
No,
god.
no, I want an ice cream, please. Thanks for asking, though.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, where are we at? So Alan in a bit of an agreement with me as well, Benny Ginger there, mate.
Is it the pecs that make it a Benny Ginger?
Sumi style.
Mm.
So I think you'll see that looks a little bit Matsubamon-esque at the moment, but you'll get a Sumi filling throughout the fish on this one as it grows with the fins as well. Yo-yo cupcakes.
No, I think he's just saying hello. I don't think
Oh,
that's good.
right.
I don't think it's an
Oh my
ice cream
god.
variety.
Oh my god. I've been done there. I was
Unless,
just about to say I've never had one of them.
yeah, unless Vince is doing a new ice cream variety cupcake
Oh
flavour. To
right,
be fair,
yeah,
that
no.
sounds pretty nice. I'd be up for that.
Can I not tempt you with a Mars ice cream?
Oh yeah, yeah. To be fair, I'd take any ice cream in that polytunnel at work. To be fair, although I guess it wouldn't last very long.
So you know the pole that comes down in the middle of the polytunnel?
Yeah, yeah.
For years now, I've been worried that I was going to catch my head on it. For anyone
Mm.
that's, you won't know what I'm on about, but it's like a steel pole about that wide, and it's just hollow, and it comes down out of the roof. And I was on the phone the other day, walked out the back of the polytunnel, scuffed the whole of the top of my head. Yeah, I'm the only one tall enough for it to touch, and yeah, it was agony.
Jesus.
So it looks like Marcus on this one as well
Yeah.
was sort of diverted the conversation a little bit there. So we'll play the video one more time.
Okay.
Still got a bit of a lag tonight as well, I'm being told, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think people just need to make sure they're live with us. I think Alan might be a bit behind
Yeah.
looking at his comments, but
So yeah, unless anyone else wants to move this one forward, if you're still up to speed with us, we're looking for 125. If not, I'm going to draw a line under this one. So 120 with Marcus, going once, going twice. Sold.
well done. Well done, Marcus. So the last, oh, not that one. The last piece of the night.
So you'll notice that the breeder has changed on that, Joe.
Oh yeah, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, this is actually a danichi fish, which is a bit of a rarity. Ginrin Shiro Tsuri from Danichi. This does come with uh, breeder's certificate as well.
Wow.
Original Danichi breeder certificate with the clever, what do they call it, on the bottom of it, of the certificate, like hologram thing
All
for
right. Yeah, yeah.
authenticity. So no cheap knockoffs with this farm. So yeah, sort of like a less is more kind of fish, really, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I guess with this one, I don't know. I'm a bit shocked that it's Dainichi because it's not got them typical Dainichi traits for me. This one, I think it's got different traits to it, but like in terms of the Ginrin quality, like if it was a standard Shiro, I would have maybe had a better guess as it being Dainichi. But yeah, I guess the Ginrin quality's, you know, pretty, very good in it, and
Bit of a
yeah, I just
curveball, isn't it? Not type
yeah,
of variety you expect coming from
exactly,
Danichi,
yeah,
but obviously they do quite a bit of Ginrin Showa these days as well.
yeah,
So they
yeah.
are, well, obviously there's quite a lot of prominence in Ginrin more and more at the farm as the years go on. So I quite like, this is almost like a proper stripped back style, almost like Kindai Shiro, you know what I mean? Where you've just got
Yeah.
these fingers of sumi coming up along the lateral side. Obviously, what's going to happen with this fish is when it starts to form on the face. I think that's when you're going to get that complete image of the fish, if you will.
Hmm.
Nice prominent bone structure on the back there as well. You just see it brimming out of the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, a bit of a unique koi. This one, not in the
Hmm.
sense that a Ginrin Shiro is unique, but Ginrin Shiro from Danichi, he's not to a penny. So 48 cm as well, so decent size. So yeah, looking for 200 if anyone's involved in this one. Last one in the evening.
Yeah.
and we'll try and get out of this sweat box. I mean, I've got the window open, but I swear the heat is just getting worse in here. I'm not sure how that's happening.
Well, I hope we get good weather this weekend. I don't know what the forecast is actually.
It's looking all right, mate. Looking all
Yeah.
right. So maybe a few après beers for yours truly.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for this weekend. To be fair, best koi weekend of the year in my opinion. But yeah, so I'm just excited. It's always good to see everybody. 200 quid with Johnny Koi. Chris is spot Sumi style.
Okay.
Not sure what you're on about there, Alan.
No, I don't know whether that's a compliment or I'm being schooled here. We'll find out. Although Alan and I have got quite similar tastes, as we found out at the Tucano event.
Why? Because did you outvote Ricky?
We did twice, yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I agreed with all of the.
Very contentious. Everyone loves a little bit of controversy, mate. As no doubt you will get at the weekend, mate.
Oh, there always is, isn't there?
Probably from the people that didn't win anything.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. Who's going to be there this weekend? Put it in the comments if you're at the show.
Yeah, good shout. Might as well give it a little plug, hadn't we? Yeah. Big koi weekends. You probably know a bit more detail than I do, Joe, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go to this, so I have been full stag mode.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I think it's. I mean, I don't want to talk it up too much, but anyone who was there that last year, just speaking with people saying that the venue is absolutely massive this year. So they're going bigger again. I think the show ring's going to be all together this time, so it's not as big of a circle looking at what they've done. Yeah, it's just going to be massive. And it was pretty big last year, but you couldn't move. I don't think you made it last year. Inside.
I did come. I came with my little boy, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was rammed. So I think the extra space is going to be
not a night in a horrible way. Just he was sort of like he was convinced that the big pool in the middle where they had the water changing.
Oh yeah.
But he was convinced that there were sharks in there. So he kept running underneath the barriers going, I'm just going to go and see the sharks, Daddy. I was like, come here, you little shit.
Brilliant. But no, there's always going to be controversy. And I think Mr. Tate is judging at the weekend. So
yeah, okay. Pressure.
No pressure, yeah.
He is the Iceman, though, isn't he? He doesn't let it phase him.
No, exactly. Jeez, it's going to be massive. I did go. It's going to be rammed. What are we talking about? I usually charge for words like that, mate. So
yeah, I can see if you've just checked in, we might need to clarify these comments.
Brilliant. That's going to be Chris's stag do that's describing. To be fair.
Wow. Well, yeah, I'll let you know next week, mate.
Oh dear.
So it looks like, this one's going to go for a snip as well, buddy.
Yeah, Johnny Koi 200 for a certificated.
Nice little logo there as well. I like that. Very smart. So yeah, I think that's Ben in the 210.
Everybody's trying to snipe at the end.
So just on any bids over on starting bids of 200, we go up in £10 increments. So we're looking for 220 to keep this one alive. Johnny Koi, if you're still with us, buddy, please let us know. Twisted Koi there.
I've just figured out what Alan was on about earlier with the Chris is spot on with the Sumi style. I think he's on about the Benny Ginga.
Oh, Right.
I think he's
Fair
that
enough.
far behind.
Wow. Oh man, alive. This is wow. Yeah.
There you go.
I hope we've not got people bidding on fish that ended an hour ago.
Let's hope not. No, I think Alan's just a bit. Yeah, he's following on behind us. Hello, Alan
Richard,
from the past.
it's not my stag do. It's my mate's stag do that I'm organising. So yeah, which ironically the place that we've hired is in Newark. So yeah, if you're out in Newark Saturday night at the show
What?
or Friday night, then listen out. There's going to be a lot of rowdy blokes nearby.
Oh dear.
So this one's sort of moving more in the direction of what it's still at 260. I always liken these types of fish to sort of being pondside and sort of being with being at Danichi. I've sort of said this anecdote a few times, but first time I ever went there, sort of had a fag in his mouth. He come barging up to me and Ricky. He just went, "How do you pay?" He just went like that. "How do you pay?"
Oh, wow.
"Oh, nice to meet you."
Yeah.
So yeah, how much do you want to spend? Jumbo toso. Ah, stuff. That was the experience on that day.
I'm not. I asked Ricky this on Question Time last week. I said, "What do you prefer, going to the bigger dealers and getting like these ponds of Sakai fish like we've done this year, or like the Takano experience?" Because I'm still not a fan of like somebody told me you have to book in an appointment with Sakai now. You have
Oh,
to book.
so yeah.
You can't just walk in now and just buy.
That doesn't surprise me. The place is just far too commercial now.
Yeah.
Far too much value there as
That's not what buying fish should be about though. Even I know when you become a dealer it changes again. But there's still a hobbyist element of being a dealer, isn't there, about going and having that experience?
Yeah, I can see it from the breeder's perspective, 100%. A lot of the time, you still need to call the breeder when you're in the gatter. The
Yeah.
fish house might be open, but if you want to sort of buy stuff off of him, or you need to check what's available as well, because they might have just sort of brought fish in and they'll be like, no, the fish aren't ready, they look shit, so you know they're not for sale. So, but I quite like the oddities. The big farms are sort of like, wow, it's just nuts, mate, but it's just unattainable a lot of the time. So you're looking at fish that you sort of going, even in my wildest dreams, I couldn't get the fish that I'm looking at. Whereas the best fish at some of the smaller farms are quite attainable, and that's where you can have quite a lot of fun. So, yeah, probably some of
Yeah.
my more unique experiences. Just trying to think. I mean, I remember when we had mad snow one year. Afuchi's koi house was literally cut off. It was nuts, and he's an old boy who just pretty much grunts and moans. Doesn't speak a word of English, and you literally had to climb up like 5 foot, and then there's a little drop off, and then this whole fish house was just covered, like meters high full of snow. You couldn't even see it from the road. That was quite a cool experience. And then Kansuke, he's an old boy as well. Originally one grand champion years and years and years ago. Old school kind of guy. His fish don't get massive, but he only does sort of like high end. Well, not high end because they're not reflected price wise, but he just concentrates on quality.
Yeah.
And again, he's a real true sort of master pioneer of sort of kahaku breeding. He's just been overtaken by some of these more commercially savvy farms, more westernized marketing sort of side of things.
Yeah.
And he doesn't push. It's not a massive facility, and he doesn't push his fish. You know, he's quite happy with his stock, and he knows where he's at. He's not looking. You know, he's probably late 70s now. He's not looking to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, that was a cool experience. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it
always
looks
like
like Koi Election. That's quite a cool name. Come in at the death, 270. So we'll play this video one more time, and if anyone wants to up a bid, please let us know. We're looking for 280 to keep this one alive. If not, we're going to call this one a night. Ben back in with 280, so we're looking for 290 now. $290, looking for 300. Yeah. Got 3 people invested in this one. I can see why.
Yeah, it's a stunning piece and certificated danichi. You know, you're not getting this for 300 quid in retail.
It was actually quite a dear toe side, to be honest with you. Jumbo toe side.
Yeah, you can see why. I just didn't put the danichi thing to it, to be fair. I just...
No, but to be fair, I don't think without knowing you wouldn't, mate.
No.
I think even I glossed over it and thought it was a cowfish. So yeah, it's just.
It's a unique piece, though, isn't it, to own from danichi?
I think so. Yeah. I think in terms of price point as well. You know, it's not a cheap fish by any means, but yeah, it's sort of 330 plus bits and bobs. It's still a pretty good buy. So we're with Koi Lection at the moment at 330.
Ben's out.
Johnny Koi back in with 340. So we're going to play the video one last time. If you can enter your bids. I appreciate there might be a lag. Hopefully, it's a hard one for us to call this. We're currently at 350. We're looking for 360 or a little bit more just to nudge this one and secure it.
I've got a spaghetti carbonara to cook. And garlic.
So I've had a great, speaking of spaghetti carbonara, I heard a great joke yesterday. So I was feeling, oh no, I've told it wrong already. Oh my God. I went for an Italian meal on my own last night, Joe.
Okay.
So I was feeling cannelloni.
Oh, Christ. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well,
on that note, yeah, sorry.
Oh dear, I'm gonna steal that one for myself. That one, that's brilliant.
390 Koi Lection. I'm out. No problem, buddy. Thank you for tonight. What we got? We got anything on tomorrow, mate?
Yeah, I think I might be on with Ricky. I need to check and see if he wants me.
Yeah.
But yeah, might be on. Someone will be on tomorrow at Thursday at 6 o'clock, and then yeah.
No one's liking the joke.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
right, good night. Nearly 2 hours tonight.
Heat box, mate. So I'm going to disappear. Thanks everyone for the support as always. Please make sure you send your details over to my email address, which is chris@koi-wholesale. No, it's not. Chris@koi-wholesale.
I
knew there was a hyphen in there somewhere. Yeah, it's the heat, Joe. It's got to me, mate. Right, I'm going to disappear. So thanks, Joe, for being co-pilot as always, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow, buddy.
See you later,
guys.
Good night.
Bye. Bye.